Hey guys, it's Lefty from 643 Productions welcoming you to another gameplay commentary. And school, now for most of the United States, I believe, is in full swing. And I believe most parts of the world, right? I don't know. Never gone to school outside of the United States, so I wouldn't know. But it's sad that from time to time we are forced to hear about violence in schools. And I'm talking about egregious violence, not like, oh, this kid got his ass whipped and et cetera, et cetera. I'm talking about school shootings and things like that, and people bringing knives to school and murders and stuff like that. And there was another there in Maryland, a 15-year-old high school student is accused of bringing a gun to school and firing shots at another student. And thankfully, he was wrestled to the ground by a teacher and I believe another administrator before he could hurt any other students in the school. And thankfully, again, that was the case. But now I don't want to talk. I don't want to use this as a vehicle to talk about the hysteria surrounding gun control that's obviously going to flow from this, and indeed flows from every situation like this. Like I've repeated, talking about Columbine, Virginia Tech, etc. This is going to be in the mass hysteria surrounding this as the story continues to perpetuate. There's going to be massive calls for stricter gun laws, etc., etc. I'm not going to talk about that. All I ask is that you apply the rational, logical thought processes that I have put forth in other videos about that topic and apply it here, just like you probably should. And then recompute, and then see what you think, and then if you still believe that guns should be banned universally, then you're stupid, and then okay. But anyway, I was asked by a viewer in a message on YouTube. I was asked by a subscriber I was asked about what my thoughts on bullying were, because the story surrounding this case was that supposedly this 15-year-old high school student was responding to bullying that he had been on the receiving end of for quite some time. And again, this is usually the narrative that is intertwined in middle school and high school / secondary school shootings. Not so much college and other things like that. That's usually just some guy goes bonkers. Although, just in the general sense, you do have to be, like I said, a little bit crazy to believe that, to act out your revenge fantasies, to actually get a gun and think, okay, yes, ending human life is the proper response to these revenge fantasies. You do have to be a little bit crazy, but usually in middle and high school shootings, you have more of the overreaching narrative of responding to bullying. And so I was asked about bullying, and I'm here to talk with you about that. Bullying. I have had some experience with it. I have witnessed it just as an impartial third party. I have been on the receiving end of it, not as bad as some of the horror stories you hear in the media and in cases like this where children finally just go a little bit crazy. And a lot of people, especially now, it will always be a hot topic, especially with social media outlets and the anonymity granted by the internet. I mean, I get told a lot, I guess relatively for a normal person, I get told by a lot of people that, they wish to see me die and they wish they could kill me, et cetera, and I'm a dumbass and I should die. And recently with there was a while ago, some congressman put forth making bullying, or somebody tried to enact a law to make bullying a crime, and that just screams vague, like disorderly conduct of, how do you convict somebody of being disorderly? What is disorderly? How do you define that? Et cetera, et cetera. And so bullying is a hot topic. And I honestly, and when I say these things, I don't mean to parrot other people, but I honestly do not see other people positing these theories. And I have one regarding bullying. How about in response to bullying, in terms of facilitating responses to bullying and helping ensure that crimes like this, a child bringing a gun to school in response to bullying, things like that don't happen, and who's responsible and who should make sure it doesn't happen. I have a thought. How about, and I know this is a novel idea, how about in this country we start holding parents accountable? How about we start saying, no, you know what? You are responsible for this little mini human here. You're responsible. They're part you. They're half of you, for the most part. How about we start saying, you're responsible for them? Their actions are indicative of either your overbearing nature or your lack of inclusion in their life. And it's on you. Maybe not criminally or civilly, but how about we start encouraging parents? You know what? Take an interest in your child's life. When you start seeing them receding back into a protective shell of emotion and just becoming a recluse and not wanting to speak to other people and just being kind of angry all the time and exhibiting signs of depression, et cetera, et cetera. How about instead of running to the counselor, instead of running around trying to find the person responsible, how about you talk to your child? How about, because it's a long road, you don't just wake up one day and think, oh, I'm going to start shooting people. Well, very rarely does that happen. It's usually, way more often than not, it's a long road of bullying, a long road of depression, and usually accompanied by parents that aren't involved in their children's lives. So instead of trying to hold other people accountable, how about we start saying, you know what? Maybe you should be just a little bit more involved in your child's life. And if the response to that is, oh, I don't have the time because I got to make the money, and then you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be having a little mini human. Maybe you shouldn't be responsible for it. Maybe you, the person that was either too drunk or too dumb to put on a condom, shouldn't have a child. Let's start. It's a novel idea, I know, but in response to bullying, how about we start encouraging parents to do what they can instead of trying to put the blame on others, whether it be video game companies, music companies, gun corporations, et cetera, et cetera. How about we say, no, that's your mini-human. Why weren't you involved? Stop asking about what kind of video games is he playing, music you listening to, et cetera, et cetera. How about where the hell were the parents? Why were you not asking your child why he didn't have any friends, why he was depressed, why he was posting weird, vague threats to Facebook? Instead of asking for the police to come in and start investigating people that say vague things on Facebook, how about you as a parent do your damn job and start asking your child questions? Stop asking the government and other entities to be responsible for your lack of parenting. It's a crazy idea, I know, but if I was king of the world, that would be in response to bullying, that would be item number 1 on my list. How about we start tasking parents with actually being parents and being more responsible for their children? But anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Remember, likes, favorites, comments, and shares via Facebook and Twitter do help me out. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I am out.